Hello, everybody, and welcome to Whiskey Daddy Review number 13. As promised from last week, I'm going to be bringing you a Japanese whiskey today. It's the first Japanese whiskey we've done on Whiskey Daddy, and here it is. Boom. Hibiki, 17-year-old. This is coming from the Beam Suntory Company. It is composed of three different whiskeys. So we have two single malt distilleries, Yamazaki and Hakushu. Those bring in the single malts for the blend. And the corn whiskey coming from a column still is out of Cheetah. This whiskey is 43% ABV. It's a nice little straw color right there, as you can see. I'm using my smaller glass because it's a pretty faint, fairly dainty whiskey. It's very well balanced, but it is hard to get a good nose on it with a larger glass, so I'm going with a smaller one. Japanese whiskey is known for being very well rounded and very soft, and for that reason it's taken me a little while to get used to it, but it's growing on me slightly now. I've added a few drops of water here. I'm going to add a couple more. This whiskey doesn't like a whole lot of water, but it does like some. Again, 43% ABV. I'm using good old spring water here, or branch water. It's a little bit softer on the palate than some of the like tap water or regular bottled water would be. If you are using tap water, let it sit out for about 10 or 15 minutes before you put it in the whiskey. That'll help to make the mouth feel a little more creamy on it. All right, on the nose, citrus, vanilla, marshmallows, a little bit of graham cracker. It has a sawdust kind of an oak to it, elegant oak. And I'm not 100% sure if they used ex-bourbon. I'm sure there's some amount of ex-bourbon cask in here, and I think they may have even used a few of the Japanese oak to make some of the cask with. And that's a very slow-growing oak there in Japan. It brings a very sweet and spicy character to their whiskeys. I'm not sure if it's in here, but it might be. And you can really get your nose in on this one. Slight nuttiness, a hint of cocoa, a hint of mint, and a little bit of melon and apricot to round it off. All right, on the palate. The arrival, honey definitely. Orange, and then the development pushes in that oakiness in there. Brings in a little bit of a raisiny character to it in the development. A little more of the citrus. The citrus is more towards the front. The citrus and the honey is towards the front. It's a little more sweet sour, turning more sour into the development. Not a bitter, but a sour, and a very pleasant sour. The finish is drying. It's medium in length. Beautiful oak on the breath. The nose is wonderful on this whiskey. The development is where it's at. The arrival is so-so. The finish is so-so. The development's beautiful on it. I like to put that water in there, leave it on the palate for a while. It's a good thing, too, if you have a whiskey you have to leave on the palate for a while, go ahead and add some water to it because it'll help it not anesthetize your tongue and numb it down too much so you can get some of these flavors out of it. But the development here that's when you start to get the sourness comes in, the bitterness comes in. You get this raisin character, like a non-sweet raisin, or maybe a little bit of fig in there coming in. And it's very beautiful. It's very harmonious. It takes a couple glasses of this whiskey to really appreciate it, especially if you're a person that's used to more robust whiskey, or like a heavily sherried Scotch whiskey or a heavily peated Scotch whiskey or something like that. This is not going to bring that kind of a character to you. This is a soft, blended Japanese whiskey, and I'm starting to appreciate it more and more. I wasn't a huge fan of Japanese whiskeys before I got this particular one. The 17-year-old is rather difficult to get a hold of, and it's about double the price of the 12-year-old. I'm interested to try the 12-year-old. I heard it's a little more robust in character, but I started backwards. Started with a 17. I'm going to work my way back. I believe they also have a 21 as well. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but the word Hibiki means harmony. And the bottle is absolutely beautiful. If you take a look at the bottle here, it's almost a decanter style bottle. And if you look at these little ridges here, I believe, and I hope I don't get this wrong, but I believe there is 23 of them. It faces 23 different directions, and this has some kind of representation of the 23 seasons in the old Japanese calendar. I hope I didn't get that wrong, but it has something to do with that. And then this paper that's on the front here, this is an old style of making Japanese paper they put on there. So it's a really elegant bottle. It's very, very nice. And it's a very good whiskey on top of that. So anyway, that's going to round us off. Cheers, everybody. Next week, we're bringing it back to America. We're going to be talking all about Bookers. I'm going to tell you about how to read the dates, and we're going to do some tastings. Can't wait to do it. We'll see you guys next week. I'm the Whiskey Daddy. Bye.